What is up? In this video, I'm going to be attempting to teach you how to form an asymmetrical foundation layout for your castle. Now, I've gotten a lot, and I mean a lot, of requests to put this tutorial together. Before I begin though, if you're not subscribed to this channel, move your cursor over to this thing, which is normally found somewhere underneath the video, and then left click. Now with that out of the way, let's get to it. There will be two methods that I'll be talking about that you can use to form your own asymmetrical foundation layout for your castle. The first and easier one that I'll be talking about is the terrain merging method. The second one that I'll be explaining is what I like to call the keep trying until you succeed method, or FUBAR for short. All of this will make sense later in the video. So to begin, we'll start with the terrain merging method. I say this is the easier method out of the two because no matter how crazy you get with your asymmetrical layout, you don't have to worry about connecting any walls at an endpoint. You will literally run your layout into terrain, whether it's a mountain or ending at a body of water. As a visual, I'll throw together a layout real fast. It's that simple. Now moving on to the keep trying until you succeed method. This is a little more difficult. The strategy for this method is exactly what the name suggests. Now to be honest, I'm still relatively new to asymmetrical castle layouts and haven't developed a 100% way to easily connect the layout to where the endpoint is flush with another part of the build. I'm sure there's probably some kind of math involved to accomplish this, however, ain't nobody got time for that. Now I've figured out a trick that I use that seems to be partially effective, which I'll be explaining here in a sec. Before I do, let's get our layout started. Now as you can see, we got a little crazy on the asymmetrical layout, and now our walls are not connecting with each other. I call this an imperfection. This can mean that there's a gap in your foundation layout, which is bad, or it can mean that your foundations are not properly aligned but are still flush with each other. This is the imperfection we're looking for. So the trick that I've discovered is to have your foundation layout end at a point that has more than one foundation. For my previous builds, that's normally a gatehouse, tower, or some other building. This gives a little wiggle room if the foundations do not align or are not closely aligned, so you're not trying to connect your layout perfectly to one foundation. In this instance, we'll be ending our layout on a 3x5 rectangle, which will signify a gatehouse. At this point, you'll keep trying different angles in order to connect your foundations. In order to show you how difficult this can be, here's my attempt to connect the two. So I finally managed to connect the two flush with each other, which took about 9 minutes. So believe me when I say it's a pain to do. Sometimes you get lucky, other times you won't. Here are some more examples of foundation layouts that employ the same strategy. This layout, if you can't tell, is the foundation base for the Aquilonian castle. In this build, there are two imperfections. Can you spot them? The first one is where the inner and outer wall connect. In this instance, I had 12 foundations to work with. The second is where this wall meets this round tower. I only had 2 foundations to work with while trying to connect the two. This next layout is of the sandstone castle. I ended up running the wall into the gatehouse, which gave me 3 foundations to work with. The last example is of the medieval city. I'm not going to lie, I ended up getting lucky with this one. Can you spot the imperfection? It's going to be where the arrow that says start here is at. I ended up connecting the city wall with one of the round towers, which in this instance, the foundations lined up almost perfectly, and I only had 1 foundation to work with. I don't recommend trying this at home. So with all of that said, my advice when putting together asymmetrical foundation layouts is to keep trying until you succeed. I would also utilize creative mode if you're trying to come up with the layout for survival. This will save you a lot of headache, and you can simply copy the layout from creative into your survival world. Anyway, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps with the YouTube algorithm to get this channel recognized. I'm going to end this video with some showcases of some asymmetrical builds that I've done. Enjoy.